And let's now hear more from the labor sector. And with us is Carlos Miguel Oñate, spokesman of the Trade Union Congress of the Philippines, o TUCP. Magandang gabi, sir. And thank you for joining us.
Good evening, Ed. Good evening, Sean, Pauline, at sa lahat ng ating mga taga-subaybay. Good evening.
Well, sir, let me start off first with this. I think a lot of people feel what you also feel, na parang ilang linggo na magmula nung may mga umamin sa Senado na may dayaan at may pangungurakot, pero wala pa rin nakakasuhan. So I think a lot of people agree with you on that. But my question also has to do with this. Paano nangyari na ang business at ang labor nagkaisa at nagkasundo sa isang statement? That's also unusual. Let me start with that first. Sige, yun muna. Paano kayo nagkaroon ng meeting of minds on this particular case, and how did that happen?
Apo, ang konteksto niyan ay yung ating mga business groups ay nag-issue ng kanilang sariling statement about corruption. Yung ating labor groups under sa National Wage Coalition nag-issue rin ng statement on corruption. And then ito pong tinatawag, ito ay tawag namin sa coalition actually is a leaders forum. So this is an existing bipartite platform for both employers and labor groups. So naisip namin, ba't hindi na lang natin pagsamahin yung ating boses para mas malakas patungkol dito sa corruption. Both business and labor ay napaka-concerned not only dun sa scale ng corruption na na-discover, pero dun din po sa pace ng investigation at ng prosecution. Kaya naglista kami ng 5 demands which we think the Marcos administration should right away take because the people's patience is really running out.
Okay. We've heard more recently from the business groups, but let's focus on the labor groups of which you are heading. Ano ba yung talagang hinanakit ng mga workers, ng mga ordinary na manggagawa against dito sa corruption? Is it the fact na yung taxes nila ay dito nang napupunta?
Ay napakarami pong layer ng reklamo ng ating mga manggagawa dito sa corruption. Una-una, napakalaki yun ng kinakaltas na buwis dun sa ating mga manggagawa. Income tax man yan o dun sa ating mga minimum wage earners na wala namang income tax dahil exempted sila. Yung VAT, na lahat ng bilihin may VAT So nagbabayad din sila ng buwis. No? Pangalawa, hindi naman yung mga magnanakaw kung saan mayayaman na village o kung saan sila nagkakasino yung sumasabak sa bahay. Yung mga manggagawa po, lalo yung siyang humaharap po dun sa banta ng baha, banta ng leptospirosis, at karamihan po sa ating mga manggagawa, arawan, no work, no pay. So kung napakatindi ng baha na nangyari dahil wala palang flood control to begin with, dahil ghost ang project, manggagawa po, no? Yung ipapakain po sa kanilang pamilya, ipapaaral po sa kanilang anak, yun po yung napakasakit sa ating mga manggagawa. At mas masama pa na nakikita rin sa iba't ibang issue rin pala at sektor, kagaya ng edukasyon, sa ospital, health centers, ganun din po pala. It's either non-operational, substandard, o sa pinakamasama, ghost. At hindi maintindihan ng ating mga manggagawa dahil alam naman natin, sinusulong pa rin natin. Halimbawa, yung dagdag na 200 pesos na legislated wage increase, yung 100, 200 po, pinagkakait doon sa minimum wage earners. Habang trilyon-trilyon na pala yung nawawaldas at ninanakaw po mula sa kaban ng bayan.
Nabanggit mo nga, Carlos, patience is running thin. Pero ano ba yung 5 urgent actions that you want the government to take in order to restore trust and accountability?
Yes, number 1, we recognize that indeed public trust is at an all-time low. 97% of our people, according to Pulse Asia, thinks that the corruption in government is widespread. That's why first in our agenda is to call on the President to convene regular sectoral dialogue with both labor and business. No matter how easy it seems, it has been more than 3 years into this administration, and yet the President has not collectively met with labor and with business. The second demand is that we urge the President to certify as urgent legislation that will strengthen the Independent Commission for Infrastructure with full contempt and subpoena powers. Further, we urge yung ating ICI. Nang ibig sabihin ng letter I dyan ay independent, hindi isolated. So we urge the President to direct the ICI to live stream the hearings and all the submissions should be for public disclosure. because hindi natin maiwasan yung ating mga manggagawa, lalo na magsuspetsa kung ano ba talaga nangyayari dyan dahil sarado yung investigasyon. Yung pangatlong aming panawagan, kadugtong noon, dahil gusto nating ma-prosecute, ma-convict itong mga corrupt officials, contractors o sino man sila, ay to call on for a special division in the Sandigan Bayan because we think that this would 200 cases, the minimum siguro, ang kailangang i-file sa dami ng involved dito sa largest corruption scandal na ito. Yung pang-apat at pang-lima, these are more fundamental reforms. The fourth one is about recovering yung nanakaw mula sa kaban ng bayan through immediate asset freezing of all those involved, no? Lahat ng assets nila, pati yung insurance recovery, pati yung restitution. At sana po itong makuha natin, mabawi nating pera ng bayan ay ma-allocate dun po sa mga programa that will support, no, the Filipino people, especially the workers, may that be in the form of subsidy or any form of assistance. And yung panghuli, we are not satisfied with the participation that is given to sectors to observe the congressional hearings or the reported opening to the public of the Bicameral Conference Committee. What we demand is that we should institutionalize multi-sectoral participation right from the very start of the budget preparation, meaning from the preparation of the National Expenditure Program, so that you can have a Department of Agriculture budget that is first presented to the groups of farmers para reflective po ng pangangailangan at aspirations ng isang sektor, ito pong budget, so that it's not only the President's budget, but truly yung sinasabi nga nating the people's budget.
Actually, Carlos, dun sa ICI, in-announce naman na nila na gagawin ng live stream yung mga hearings starting next month, November. Pero kayo ba, may mga apprehension pa rin kayo dun sa magiging conduct ng live streaming?
Ang una-una lang concern namin is actually binanggit na nga that they announced that they would be live streaming, but then may sinasabi na napakadami pang dokumento, rules, guidelines that has to be finalized bago i-live stream. Ang point namin is that if the House and the Senate can live stream their hearings to the public, then there is no reason why the ICI cannot do it immediately, especially since it is a fact-finding bodies. So workers and business have much at stake because it is our money, so that kailangan alam natin kung ano yung nangyayari dun sa ating investigasyon, dun sa pagnanakaw na yon. Yung pangalawa naming dagdag doon ay hindi sapat na live stream lang in public hearings. We also want all those submissions, may that be position papers, affidavits, or kung anumang dokumento, also for public disclosure.
Okay, Carlo, quick follow-up lang, no? Kasi nag-freeze naman na ng assets, kinuha na rin yung mga kotse ng mga disgaya at i-auction na nga. Is that not enough? We all know naman medyo mabagal yung usad talaga ng mga kaso dito, lalo na kung gusto mo mag-stick yung mga cases at walang ma-acquit dahil, kumbaga, bara-bara yung pagkaka-file ng mga charges. Meron ba kayong willing na palugid ibigay sa gobyerno in terms of that?
Opo, ang binibigay naming timeline, kaya very urgent din namin ito inilabas on a Sunday, is that we all know for a fact that there would be large demonstrations once again, on or before, on the way to November 30. So kailangan may maipakita po tayo sa taong bayan na ito yung kilos na kinakailangan, bold, concrete, dun sa patungkol dun sa asset freezing, i-freeze din natin, mas marami pa, mga binanggit na yung mga involved, i-freeze na natin lahat ng assets ng mga involved. At gayon din, ine-emphasize din namin na sana dito sa investigasyon at prosecution na magaganap, wala tayong sasantuhin. Ang gusto namin, both yung sinatawag na maliliit na isda, pati yung malaking isda, pati yung ugat o mastermind ng corruption scandal na ito. Lahat sila dapat managot dito.
At the same time, there are some concerns that have been raised after September 21 that some people or some sectors might be interested in taking advantage of the protests. You might call it military adventurism, sabi nga ng iba. How concerned are you about that possibility?
Oh, we actually included it in the statement that we should all pursue this anti-corruption drive within the bounds of the rule of law, due process, and the Constitution, because the last thing we want is further instability. Both business and labor, ayaw ho yun mangyari. Kung kaya't ito hong 5 panawagan, ang yan po sinasabi namin, i-adapt po kaagad ng Pangulo para po yung ating mga kabayan bumalik po yung kanilang tiwala because we recognize, nakalagay din doon sa aming open letter, na baka may mga iba, no, na mag-take opportunity doon sa disillusionment ng ating mga kababayan sa sistema.
Okay, and in terms of, ang dami ng letters, no? First from the business groups, the labor groups, and now a joint statement. Mukhang nafe-feel na namin yung impatience. And I think everybody shares that sentiment. Pero in terms of tipping point, how far are we from that tipping point? And kung umabot na tayo doon, ano yung pinaplano ninyo na further action kung meron?
Yes, itong mga letters na to, no, is one of the many, no, nagiging patong-patong na yung mga sulat which only underscores the urgency of the issue. Both business and labor, nakita naming responsibilidad, obligasyon namin, lalo sa aming bawat membro, na let's keep this urgency, no, para magbantay yung ating mga kababayan. Yung tipping point na binabanggit, no, perhaps yan ay mangyayari kung meron tayong krimen, no? Wala nang magdi-disagree na talagang may krimen ng malawakang korupsyon, pero hindi ka pwede magkaroon ng krimen na walang kriminal na mapapanagot. So yun yung aming hinihingi na dapat makita natin, may mga charges filed, mga strong cases filed, call departure orders kung kanino man. At doon naman sa pagkilos, no, ang TUCP kasama rin nung lumahok doon sa September 21 at kami rin ay nagbabalak din sumama doon sa November 30. Ngunit yung mga detalye nito ay patuloy na pinag-uusapan.
Actually, Carlo, nagbigay naman ng timeline si Secretary Vince Dizon, ano, and sinabi niya na by Christmas na baka may makulong na. Are you optimistic na ganun nga ang mangyayari by Christmas?
Ang inaasahan lang namin sa lahat ng mga lumulutang na timeline, kasi meron din kami narinig na ombudsman na 30-day timeline, meron yung kay Secretary Vince na hanggang December Pasko, no? Ang sa amin lang itong mga timelines ito, sana ini-expect ka na sana on or before November 30 may malinaw tayo na timeline na ng mga cases na na-file. At ayaw namin yung umuusod ng umuusod kasi yan yung naging experience natin, no? It has been how many 3 months almost mula nung nagsabi ang Pangulo ng mahiya naman kayo, ang binanggit doon, no, cases will be filed next week ng next week. Kaya yung aming naging open letter na, binabanggit na namin. So what now, Mr. President, after 3 months to underscore the urgency for action?
Okay. Carlos, medyo may bako ng konti. Matanong ko lang kasi yung tungkol sa SALN, we understand yung inyong party list representative doon sa Congress ay nag-publicize ng kanyang SALN, which is of course very commendable kasi iilan lang sa mga congressman ang nagme-make public ng kanilang SALN. So let me start off with that. But at the same time, well, some people are also wondering, medyo malaki-laki yung yung assets na dineclare, which is good na dineclare niya, ni Raymond Democrito Mendoza. I think it's around 35 million. I don't know if you have any authority to talk about that. But maybe you can also address that issue. Some people may be wondering, it is a party list of a labor group. Medyo malaki-laki po ang kanyang SALN.
Opo, no, yung TUCP party list representative po namin, si Deputy Speaker Raymond Mendoza, already disclosed his SALN, no, to actually walk the talk because we have called for full transparency of the SALN. What we can say about the SALN is that dinisclose po kung ano yung tunay. As to the amount naman po, which is personal already, and we think that as long as ang na-disclose naman po ay yung katotohanan, tama naman po yung mga nakalagay na ari-arian, at yun naman po lahat ay bunga po ng pagsisikap po, no, kasi siya po ay naging representative na po sa House of Representatives since how many terms, and then also nagmana rin siya, meron din silang family corporation, humble family corporations back in Cebu.
Speaking of SALN sa Carlo, no, ano yung sentiment ninyo, ng grupo ninyo, dun sa, syempre, di ba, Big Bang, sabi ni Ombudsman Remulla, binawi niya yung memo, pero nalaman natin na parang marami pala siyang fine print, no? Na hindi pala niya hawak lahat ng SALN, and marami pang, kumbaga, kailangan na hurdles na we have to leap over to actually be able to access these SALNs. Are you satisfied with that, or do you want talagang complete, free, And are you gonna lobby for that?
Actually, we already issued a statement nung nilabas namin yung SALN ni Deputy Speaker Mendoza. Ang aming panawagan din doon ay wag na maghintay na i-request kasi nakita ka namin ang daming processes, then you still have to identify the custodian. Sa amin, ang panawagan namin sa mga public officials, lalo at this time, we want to restore public trust. So let's disclose yung SALN no, ng lahat ng public officials. Sinabi nga namin doon, baka pwedeng ilagay sa respective social media pages o sa official websites ng bawat representatives, no, both in the House and in the Senate. Kasi wala naman pong nagbabawal sa bawat members ng House at ng Senate na ilabas po yung kanilang SALN out of their own. No? We also urge na sana mas padiliin pa yung proseso kasi public office is a public trust. Yun po yung kontekstong pinagagalawan kaya ni-require ng saligang batas yung statement of assets, liabilities, and net worth.
Actually, that's very true. There's nothing that stops the official from making public his SALN. In fact, that's also encouraged by RA 6713. Yun lang. For the longest time kasi, sir, Congress has refused to disclose SALNs as an institution. And we also understand, for example, in the case of Congress, the SALNs of the congressmen are, yung repository noon ay nandun sa, I think, secretariat ng, ano. So, my question is this, would you know if is there any word from your party representative there if there is already a decision by the chamber, by Congress, on whether or not to release the SALNs of everybody?
Let me add to that, Carlo, before you answer, because Speaker Boji D last week, and we had Mika Swansing here, she said na nagko-convene na yata si Speaker
Nag-uusap
ng
raw.
group, di ba, to review the rules. Pero do you have any insider info kung
Baka lang may narinig ka dyan.
may sentiment ba na, okay, game?
Sa katunayan, kagaya binanggit ni Sean, si Speaker Boji naglabas na ng SALN, si Deputy Speaker Mendoza naglabas na ng SALN. We know for a fact that the House SALN Review Committee is actually reconstituted to finalize the guidelines for the publicly accessible SALN. So we just have to wait for that committee to finish up, and then tama po, nasa Secretary General yung repository ng SALNs ng mga members of the House of Representatives. Pero kagaya po, no, bigyan na rin po namin din para hindi na rin mainip yung ating mga manggagawa at yung ating mga kababayan na talagang ubus na yung pasensya. Panawagan namin doon sa ating mga politiko, mga government officials na ilabas na po natin yung SALN natin, lalo na kung wala naman tayong tinatago, at pakita natin kasi ang taong bayan naman po ang nag-elect sa inyo sa kinatatayuan nyo. Nararapat lamang po nilang malaman yung kanyang SALN.
And Carlo, syempre ang panawagan nyo talaga is accountability, ano? May makulong, lalo na yung big fish. But I wanted to get your thoughts also on recent developments kasi last week, no, ang Sandigan Bayan na-acquit. Ito nga si former Senate President Juan Ponce Enrile on his 15 counts of graft. You also have the ombudsman, the former ombudsman, reversing a dismissal order by the former ombudsman as well. Kayo ba, ano yung reaction nyo doon? Does that leave you disenchanted sa magiging accountability process natin dito sa bansa?
I think all of that episodes dun sa ating Philippine experience with accountability, kailangan lahat yan maging lesson sa atin. Kaya dito, especially with this corruption scandal na ganito kalaki, we cannot afford na magkaroon ng mga cases that will run 10 years, 20 years, only to find out in the end, acquitted ho yung ating kino-convict na dapat convicted. No, so ito ay very important to. As much as nag-urge kami na mas pabilisin, dapat patibayin din ho yung ebidensya. At we hope na by putting it out public, both the live stream hearings and then as well as the evidence submissions, we think na mas mapapatibay pa nito at mai-involve natin yung ating mga kababayan. At dito gusto natin, ayaw nating matanim sa ating mga kababayan yung Ningas Kogon na September 21, magra-rally, November 30, magra-rally. And then, kung may ilan na nakulong, titigil na tayo doon. Kailangan bantayan ho natin ito. Napakalaking pera ho ang nawala sa atin. Kailangan pakita po natin, no, sa ating sarili at sa iba't ibang bansa na yung ating pong rule of law, yung ating pong judicial legal system ay gumagana at kaya po nating i-convict yung sarili mismong nagnakaw mula sa kaban ng bayan.
Pero yun nga sir, wala pang whole departure order, immigration lookout bulletin pa lang. Ibig sabihin, pag may lalabas, titingnan lang nila. Wala pang hold order dahil wala pang kaso. so, and this is what, sabi nga ninyo, 3 months after the president said, mahiya naman kayo. And mga month and a half since we've had all these disclosures and admissions against self-interest in the Senate na may mga kumita ng pera. So, I suppose that's also where you're coming from. Parang, bakit medyo matagal ata yung mga kaso?
Do you feel may cover-up? May ganong sentiment ba sa mga grupo ninyo?
Wala naman kaming dabbling on the politics of it or certain personalities. We have always affirmed na kailangan itong firm at fearless yung investigation na magaganap. Pero we are also concerned. Halimbawa, yung nangyari sa Senate Blue Ribbon Committee hearing, no, kung saan natigil yung ating investigasyon dahil supposedly may concern about majority and minority switching. We think that these political detours, yun yung binanggit namin sa statement, should not distract us from the truth. And then kagaya nga ng binanggit ni Ed, no, yung whole departure order na paulit-ulit nang binabanggit na hindi magawa dahil walang kasong ma-file. We think that there is already sufficient evidence to file a case, and both business and labor, no, nagsama ni aming boses dahil nung kami bawat isa, no, parang hindi pa rin ganong naririnig. Tingin namin kung pagsamahin natin yung negosyante at manggagawa na madalas nagtatalo sa sweldo at endong pero ngayon nagkakaisa, that tells you something about the urgency and why there is a national consensus that we should already file cases to those already involved.